Okay, so we're going to talk about Moto's collars. So we're going to start with her remote collar. So the remote collar allows us to communicate with Moto from a distance. So first thing we want to do in the morning is turn the collar on. So if we look at the collar, there is a little red dot on the side, on the front part of her collar right here. That is the key to turn on the collar. The matching key to connect it, we'll turn it on. It's on the remote. So if you look at the remote, the antenna side, if you flip it to the side real quick, you'll see a matching red dot. These are magnets to turn the collar on. So we're going to touch the two together and you'll see a green light. The green light means it's on and charged, and it'll flash green every few seconds to let you know that it's on and still charged. If it starts to flash orange, that means that the battery's running low and you need to put it on the charger. So let's do that again. So to turn it off, tap, you'll see a red light. So to turn it on, tap, green light, good to go. Now we're going to turn the remote on. So on the back side of the remote right here, we have the on-off button. We're going to push and hold that until the screen lights up. So it lights up blue and we can see the number 20 on the screen. So now that the collar's on, we want to put the collar on Moto. We want it to have a snug fit. That way the connections make contact with her skin so she can actually feel the collar so we can stay consistent. So Moto's wearing the collar. Next we're going to focus on the side of the remote that has the black button and the red button. So we're going to be primarily focusing on the black S button right here. So if Moto, if you give her a command and she doesn't listen, you would say no and press the black S button, and you'll see that it lights up red and it gives a little stimulation. I can feel that. It's a little uncomfortable, but it's not painful. So you would say, let's say you ask her to come when called and she would rather sniff the ground. You would say no, push the black S button, call her again, reward when she gets to you. So that's with all the commands. So for heel, if she starts to walk in front of you rather than beside you, no, heel, walk with me, because heel means walk in my space. Free means she can go sniff and do whatever she wants. Same thing with sit, down, place, and leave it. If she doesn't do the command when you first ask her, no, give her the correction, ask her to do the command again. So you'll see when I push down on the black S button that it just stimulates the one time at level 20. We also have the red S button, which is the boost feature. We have not needed this for Moto, but you have it in case you need it, where let's say she's really distracted and you have her off leash and she starts to head towards something dangerous. You try and correct her at 20, she doesn't listen, so we have the red S button, which will increase her level to 40. The reason we have this is sometimes when dogs are really distracted or getting themselves in a dangerous environment, their tolerance for discomfort goes up, so we want to match that with increasing the level rapidly in a short period of time. Over on this side we have the T button. That stands for tone or vibrate. So I don't use this a lot because one, it can be too scary for the dogs or not enough, but in the future, down the road, I'm talking maybe 6 months to a year, you can use this as a warning, like, hey, you know, do better. That way you don't have to use the stimulation, but I would not use that for a while now. So on the back side of the remote, we have the big button in the middle again. That's the on-off button for the remote, but instead of pushing and holding it, if you just tap it, you'll activate the flashlight on Moto's collar. So one tap, it's a flashing flashlight. Two, it's a solid flashlight, and then the third tap shuts the flashlight off altogether. So this is a good feature to have for at night. We also have the M/C button over here. You don't have to worry about that button at all. Basically, it can change from it just being like a momentary stimulation, like you're gonna see right here, to a continuous stimulation where it's a constant feeling versus just the little tap. So if for some reason you look at your screen and you see a letter C, you want this little button back here, you want to push and hold it until you see just the letter M. Okay, so this is rechargeable. The charging port is on the back. And when you put this collar on Moto, you want it to be snug, like I mentioned before. Allowing only 2 fingers will mark off where it needs to be. And then we have her prong collar. So I'm going to show you how to take the prong collar off. We also have quick snap options. If you push down and then push up, it'll unsnap, put one in, put the other in, and it goes like this. The reason we have this is to help us with the leash walking stuff with Moto. So she gets highly distracted, so sometimes this paired with this is very helpful. That way you don't have to overuse one or the other. So if you're looking at Moto, her remote collar, the prong can be here or it can be here, either way, whichever one's more comfortable for you to put on. So the point of the collar isn't for her to pull into it, it's to be relaxed and for you to quickly tighten and loosen the collar in a quick pop and release motion. So this is more for using on leash obedience, like heel, sit, down, wherever you're at. But I recommend the prong collar. That way it's less pressure but more effective for her, so you're not having to pull very hard at all. And the goal is to fade away from the prong collar and just really rely on the remote. Okay, so we have her charger here. Again, they're both rechargeable. Over here, we have this little black tool. It's to tighten the prongs on the remote so that if you take her swimming, this remote and collar, they're both waterproof, but if you take her swimming, I recommend tightening it. That way you protect all the electronics from getting wet. She doesn't really have like long hair, so we don't really need the long prongs. And we have the instruction manual in case you want to go over all the buttons in greater detail. This does have a 2-year warranty. So you just want to email them and let them know that you bought this. That way you can get the 2-year full warranty. So if anything breaks, they'll send you a replacement. Not that it breaks often, but the email is on the box over here. So that's her equipment. While you're training her, you definitely want to use a lot of treats. That way it makes the transition from here to home a lot easier. So reward anything and everything she does that you like. Remember, the more you reward it, the more it will happen. Correct anything and everything that you don't like. The more you correct it, the less it will happen. So stay balanced, have fun, be consistent, and now we're going to show you Moto's commands. Heel. No. Heel. Good heel. Good girl. Good heel. No. Sit. No. Sit. Good girl. Sit. No. Sit. Good sit. Or down's fine.
Now, you and I did the math before we came on the radio really fast because I bought my home in
Good.
2019 and my interest rate was at 4.25. And please
Free.
today I bought my
Heel.
home in 2.75. What is the difference you're going to save per month on buying now, buying in 22?
Good heel. Good heel. No. Heel. No. Heel. Sit. No. Sit. Good girl. Down. Good girl. Down. Down. Good girl. No belly rubs right now. Down. No, I want to give you a treat, but not like that. Good. Down. Free? Good girl. Free? Leave it. Good girl. Okay. Leave it. Good girl. Okay. Good girl. Good job. Place. Good girl. Place. Good girl. Place. Place.